Welcome into the PHNX Sun Devil Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Anthony Totri, joined once again on this fabulous Wednesday by Shawn DePaz, and then we've got Shane Dieffenbach all the way in Alabama ahead of this week's Senior Bowl. Guys, how we doing?
I'm cold.
Lovely.
It's
Excited.
raining.
Better than Shane.
Yeah, Shane, you're going through it over there in the rain right now.
Well, there's not much else to say about it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You look cold. We're over here in bright, sunny downtown Phoenix, and we got a big show today. We are joined by none other than Arizona State men's basketball coach Bobby Hurley this morning. Bobby, thank you so much for taking the time today to speak with us for a little bit.
Good morning, guys. Good to be with you.
So we'll start off. I want to just get into the recent stretch of games that you guys had. Obviously, a very, very difficult stretch with USC, U of A, that Stanford game in there. What do you feel like your team learned about itself during that week?
Well, I think starting with Stanford, just that we're learning how to play better offense. Just we put some points on the board in that game. We shot over 50% from the field, which was a welcome sight for me. We've just we've struggled to score this year. It's been a challenge for us to put points on the board, and our defense has been pretty solid throughout the whole year, but that's been the missing ingredient. So it was great to see guys put the ball through the basket in that game, and it was a tough pill to swallow to lose that game. I thought we played a winning game on the road, and against a team that's playing pretty well. Stanford is playing pretty good basketball right now. And so I just, at this time of year, especially, guys, you just like to see, your team playing better and competing and battling out there. And I think that we did that certainly at Arizona. Just they're one of the top teams in the country this year, and, potent offensive team, and, very good at the defensive end as well. And so I think the way we competed, we were down 2, I believe, with 7 minutes left in that game. We led through the majority of the first half. So I think there were some positive signs that we're getting better as a team and starting to figure some things out.
So you mentioned a little bit like your struggles to scoring. What little things do you think your team needs to improve to kind of come out on the winning side of these really close games that you've had?
Yeah, I think that we've been able to do that, in certain situations. Our game at Oregon was a very close game. We won in overtime at Creighton. Our Utah game at home. So we've been able to win some, and the Stanford game and certainly the Arizona game, we came out on the wrong side of a relatively close game. But it comes down to little things, free throw shooting, just converting late. Just making plays down the stretch in these games to close them out. But I have a lot of confidence in my team, in our ability to win close games, especially the way I think Jalen Graham has emerged the last couple of weeks. Really has, given us a presence on in the paint, and given us the ability to score inside. And a lot of this year we've been outside in, and it's great to see his development, and him making plays out there kind of changes the dynamics, of our offense.
Hey, Coach, you guys have had multiple stretches this year where you look like the better team, and it came in different ways. Against USC, it was with this fast pace, forcing turnovers, and then against U of A, you kind of slowed down the pace. Where do you think this team plays its best basketball, and do you think it's found its identity yet?
I just think we've got to play great defense every night, and that's been. In our best victories, we've held our opponent down. We've really defended. We've kind of grinded it out, and I think we did that versus Arizona. Holding them to 32%, and they're one of the top offensive teams in the country. And our Oregon game, similar thing. Creighton, I think we just we got to play smart on offense and execute, and defensively we just got to be hungry at that end of the floor to accumulate stops, and using our quickness on the perimeter, and using our length around the basket to challenge shots. I think, that's where we're at our best, when we're playing at a high level at that end of the court.
Yeah. Bobby, this team's built a little bit different than some of your other teams in the past. What's been kind of like the learning curve this season specifically?
Well, it's been trying to manufacture points and figuring out how we could do that. And I think certainly not having Marcus Bagley most of the year has been a tough adjustment for us because we're kind of counting on him to put up 18 a game, and that's where my thoughts would have been just watching him train, get ready for the season. Piggybacking on last year where he had some really good moments, and so there's an adjustment there. And can our defense create some points for us? And that's been really the biggest challenge, I think, for this year's team.
And so looking at some of the specific players on the team, you mentioned that you were kind of relying on Bagley for that offense. You struggled a little bit to get offense in his absence. You have a guy like Mario who's coming from the MAC Player of the Year, and has struggled a little bit to score this year. What kind of conversations do you have with him, or do you kind of trust him to figure that out, or are you talking to him at all about that kind of stuff?
Well, I mean, he's an amazing competitor. Just he has great passion for the game, and I know he hasn't shot the ball well, and maybe from a scoring standpoint has underperformed in that one area. But he gives you his heart and soul out there, and just really competes both ends of the floor. I think he's got the respect of his teammates, and he's had his moments over the last couple of games where he's showing signs of having a breakout. I thought his 3-point shooting at USC was very good. I think he had 21 points in that game. So, and then he's had some other nice moments over the last 2 weeks, but he wants it bad. He's working at it. He's one of our hardest workers in practice, and just hoping here over the next 6 weeks that, he could really, find himself and take another step, because we could certainly, use that boost from Marion.
Coach, has it been strange to kind of adjust from having, a regularly high-powered offense to now you're finding yourself coaching a team that's winning its games with defense? And what is that like, coaching this type of team?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's been different. And, again, I respect our effort and how hard we're playing and competing, but it's not exactly, my vision of teams that I've had in the past and had success with here. And it goes a lot against my recruiting philosophy, and my pitch to guys we're trying to bring in is, we're this fast-paced team, and we've been a team that's been in the top 3 in the Pac-12 in scoring over the last several years. So this is a little bit of a different group. And again, I think not having Marcus has hurt that process some, and we're looking to get him healthy, and then just continue to recruit at a high level, evaluate, the team after the season, and see where we need to get better and get closer back to where we need, to be at the offensive end of the floor.
Bobby, you mentioned your success with some of your previous teams. A guy that was a part of those teams, Kamani Lawrence, how valuable has he been to this year's team from a leadership perspective?
I mean, he's been great because, we've had some heartbreaking losses. I mean, you could talk about the 70-foot shot and, these different things that have happened to us this year, and that have been tough. And internally in the locker room, I think he's been outstanding. He's a guy that I could talk about, some of my best teams here that he's been on. And then, also a season like last year with COVID and guys being injured and it not going well. So he's kind of had a taste of everything. So certainly he's able to reinforce, my messaging, and he's just a guy that I could have conversations with about, what's the psyche of the group, and that helps me, either build the guys up or keep putting my foot on the gas. So it's great to have someone that I've had this time with, and he's had a great season. He's another guy that really just gives you everything he has.
Again, you mentioned some of your teams in the past. It's been almost 7 years since you've been hired. How do you see your impact on the program and how the program has changed since you've got on board?
Well, I think the last 2 years in COVID has not been good to me, and in terms of how we performed. And I certainly feel like just from a results standpoint that we gotta do better and we gotta improve. But it was we had great momentum in the program when we stopped our season, with COVID a couple of years back. We were playing as good as I've had any team play here at Arizona State. We were, positioned as, one of the favorites in the conference tournament that year, and certainly, a lock for the NCAA tournament. So to not see that season play out, as good as we had played in the month of February, that was kind of been my message to the team. Now we've been knocking on the door here the last week, and we've had some good performances, but anything's possible. And, we put together a heck of a run a couple of years back, winning 7 straight games, and I believe 9 out of 10 in the Pac-12, and, late in the season. So that's kind of the goal. Can we keep getting better? Can we take a couple of steps here, this week and next week, and see if we could, really be a threat, once we hit the Pac-12 tournament.
Yeah, Bobby, my favorite part about watching your teams in the past, especially this team, is it doesn't matter if it's the first minute of the game or the last minute of the game. The intensity kind of seems like it's always the same. There's a lot of passion. Like guys like Marian are calling for travels with like a minute and 20 seconds to go. How do you keep guys like that, locked in and focused? Is there anything you do differently than other coaches, or is it just the philosophy overall?
Well, I mean, you gotta have a short memory in this game, and you're gonna make mistakes. Guys aren't perfect. You just gotta, play through your mistakes, or whatever adversities are happening. And we've been exposed to a lot of adversity this year. Again, just stoppages, injuries. We had a game canceled here at Desert Financial earlier in December, and so it's been kind of the same story as last year in terms of COVID. But I think the kids are a little better equipped at handling it and a little more resilient, just everything they've been through. So it's, they kind of roll with the punches a lot better. And, no matter what happens, I think it's, especially the last week for us, I told the guys, it's got to be encouraging to you that you could go play Stanford and outplay them on offense the way you did. And, you come out on the short end of that, but, and then go to a place like Arizona right now that's playing as good as any team in the country and has just demolished teams, on their home court. And to be really competitive in that game is a good sign. And we just got to keep pushing and getting better every day.
Bobby, things don't get any easier. You got USC again on Thursday, Arizona again, UCLA. A lot's been made of the fan attendance at DFA. What's your message to Sun Devil fans to get them out and show their support starting Thursday against USC?
Well, I mean, these are premium games. They're high-profile games in terms of all these teams being nationally ranked, and so I mean, it would be helpful to have a great environment and get back to how that place was a few years ago. And we've had some really good turnouts this year. I mean, our Grand Canyon game was an amazing environment, and we've had others. So I think it certainly would be a great thing, but at the same time, I'm totally aware how people might feel about the virus still and just not wanting to be around people. And, I totally get that too, but it's, it would be great to have a great turnout this week.
I think we're going to get into, so we've got all the basketball related questions for you. Want to have a little bit of fun on Wednesday before we send you off. So we've got a couple rapid fire questions. We're just going to go around and just your first answer or your favorite answer is all you got to do. So your favorite place to eat in Tempe?
You kind of broke up a little bit. I didn't get to the end of that question.
So what is your favorite place to eat in Tempe?
Well, I mean, can I just make it a broader range here to just the whole Phoenix, Scottsdale, Tempe area? Yeah, I mean, I would say Dominic's. I like steakhouse, and my daughter just had her birthday, so we're able to go there and enjoy a good meal. So I would say Dominic's.
Moving a little bit away from Tempe, what's your favorite your favorite road trip outside of playing the actual basketball game, but in terms of the cities and the colleges that you actually get to go to? What's your favorite road trip in the Pac-12?
Good question. I mean, cool cities like Seattle is a great place to go. The Bay Area is nice, but I would say the LA swing, just to, we usually would stay in the marina, for both of those games. And, I love to exercise. I love to run. I love my Peloton bike. So that hotel, literally you run right out and you could get right down to the ocean, and you running by, Muscle Beach and and where they filmed White Man Can't Jump, and then you're running out on the pier. So it gives me like 45 minutes on those days where I'm thinking about having to play UCLA and USC, a little chance to disconnect, and the weather's usually good too. So.
Well, what about the hardest place to play in terms of stadium, noise, anything, not even in the Pac-12, just in the country?
Well, I would say, goes without saying, Arizona's environment, like being in that environment is different, and it's, it's an amazing, place to play. I know our players are really excited to play in that environment. I would say with the altitude, just going to Utah and Colorado is different. I mean, I remember the day of the game running on the treadmill, and I was gassed. And then I'm going to tell the guys, man, I crushed it on the treadmill. There is no altitude thing. We ain't, we're not thinking about that. But it was, I certainly felt it. But I was trying to, play mind games with the team on that one. But I would say nationally too, though, Kansas was something to play there and to win that game and on that court with the history there and just how loud that crowd was. It was pretty crazy.
Now, I know your players do, but do you as a coach have any pre-game rituals?
Yeah, like kind of all day is, first, I don't eat on game day. And so that those 9 o'clock games are rough for me at night. And the Pac-12, we get a bunch of those late games. So, it's just something I've been doing since I've been an assistant coach. And I don't want to eat to make myself feel sluggish or tired. And but I have all other things that I do, like I'll meditate during the day after shoot around. And, I always have a specific routine, like pregame. I usually get out on the floor about 65 or 70 minutes before the game starts, just to get a feel for warm-ups, look at both teams. Then I head back in the locker room and usually then start thinking about, what the first few plays are going to be in the game and try and visualize that, and then just get changed and get ready. The last hour leading into the game is the worst for me because, you can't warm up like the team is warming up, getting ready, and you just can't wait for the time to just go so you could, start that game.
Sticking with the kind of the pregame ritual thing, on your drive to the arena, are you listening to any specific music, any specific artists? Are you radio off, just kind of focused? What's your drive to the arena like?
I don't know. I mean, on the bus, I always listen to music, some type of music, big variety. I mean, it's wide ranging variety, but I've gotten away from that. I don't know, just COVID and these, the last season and a half is, I've kind of flipped some things. So I've gotten rid of the headphones, and I'm not blaming them for us not playing well all the time. It's probably nothing to do with music but yeah, so I've scrapped that. But I have a core thing, a group of things that I do pregame.
Do you have any specific artists or anything like that you go back to? Any like a genre of music?
I mean, I like 90s hip hop. So I'll do some of that. I mean, heck, I'll have, like, as bad as this might be to say, I'll have some Adele just to like try and get touch some other places, just some more depressing type music. And then some more hype stuff, more rap and hip hop. So it's a little bit all over the map.
Great choices.
Yeah.
I love it. So the current distraction, pretty hard not to notice it. Do you have any moments that you remember, most memorable moments, or do you just kind of stay away from it and focus on the game?
I mean, it's hard for me to like pay attention to it. I don't really notice it as much. I have a lot of things going on, but it's I did know that Grant Hill, my former teammate, was going in there. They told me the day before, and when he might go in. So that was cool seeing him. I appreciated him doing that. And I knew Michael Phelps, obviously that's the most famous one. And, we really appreciated him, taking his time to do that.
Last question we've got for you, Bobby. Who you going with in the Super Bowl?
Well, my brother, it's crazy. My brother is the head coach of UConn, and he's we grew up. I've been a Cowboy fan growing up, and my brother was he was the rebel in the family, and he went against the grain, and he became a Bengal fan way back in like the mid 80s. It was, I think they went to the Super Bowl and played the 49ers. And it was like I think the quarterback was Kenny Anderson, and he just started liking it, like the Icky shuffle and the whole thing. He was big on all that stuff. So I actually watched, that was like one of the first games I've watched all year was the Bengals game on Sunday, and just rooting for him. You know, they don't get to the Super Bowl too often. So, and I didn't appreciate that the Rams advanced and our squad here locally didn't. So I'm going with the AFC and going with the Bengals.
Bobby, thanks so much for joining us, and good luck on Thursday.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Bobby.
Guys, ASU men's basketball. Thursday, USC, they get them again. Hurley said it. Offensively, they need to find ways to put up points and consistently kind of keep them going. We saw it the first time they played. They owned the first 12 minutes of that game and then kind of fell short. Where do you see, Shane, I'll start with you. Where do you see ASU picking up their scoring inconsistencies?
Well, I mean, it's gotten better, and that's kind of all you can ask for. I think you got to go back to guys that are playing their best basketball, guys like Jalen Graham, DJ Horn. You have to run plays for them when it comes to the second half, because sometimes they just have the tendency to, I don't know if it has to do with them being down and trying to find scoring from somewhere else, but you really have to go to the well. You have to, even if they struggled at the start of the second half, you have to go back and find that magic that was happening in the first half. So just find the hot hand, I think, is the best thing, because this team isn't great at running sets. They aren't great at, getting their own buckets. They have to rely on guys that are hot. So yeah, find your scorers, man.
Yeah, I mean, Shane said it. Like, there's obviously the guys that have been at least somewhat consistent in scoring. I mean, I know we keep kind of repeating this. There's gonna be a game at some point where Marian and DJ or at least two of them all figure it out. We can't hear the music, Shane, so you're just kind of dancing to nothing. But there's going to be at some point where we get two of that.
But I was dancing. I was dancing to your comment.
Oh, okay.
We would love that. I'm very aware you can't hear the music.
Yeah. Okay. But no, I feel like at some point we're going to get two of that three-headed backcourt beast like going at the same time, and when that happens, I think they're going to be a really, really hard team to beat. So it's gonna come. I'm just not sure when. Yeah.
What do you think? I mean, obviously this team's been on the road for a while. Obviously that the USC game and the Stanford game feel like they happened so long ago. What do you think is like the importance now that they finally get to be back in Tempe with some tough games starting again Thursday, USC? What's the importance of being back at home for those games?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is just, kind of bringing that passion to the fan base. And like Bobby said, these are games that people should be going to, and I mean, he said, like, the COVID stuff, whatever. And there's a raindrop on my screen, but I think it mainly has to do with the way the fans feel about this team, and the way the fans feel about this team is because they don't really watch the full games. They see the scores. If you watch these games, you realize that they're competitive for at least a 10-minute stretch every time, and they play hard the entire time. So I think the biggest thing is trying to get that passion to the fan base. Have one good game against USC tomorrow, and you reignite the fan base. I mean, the U of A game, there's going to be people there. There always is. So you just have to have a really good showing in one of these games, and maybe that ignites a fan base again. And just having a backing, having support, I think would really help a team like this who struggles at points and probably gets down on themselves, even though Bobby, the master motivator he is, doesn't really let that happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned in the audio episode on Monday that, like, Pac-12 teams that, like, it's hard to play on the road, especially when you're playing 3 straight games on the road. Pac-12 teams are 1-4 in the third game of a 3-game road trip this season. So I think just being back home and just being where you're comfortable is going to give them a boost that probably could have gotten them a win, at least in one of these close games. And like Shane said, these are USC is going to be the most manageable, the most winnable game of these 3, the stretch of 3 games. 100%. And if they win that game, there's no reason that you don't go to a UCLA game and especially the U of A game, being like, this team is clearly capable of producing some kind of magic and getting upsets, which is what you want to see when you have a team that's in the position that ASU is, that's what you're rooting for. Is you're rooting for upsets. You're not expecting them to win the Pac-12 tournament or to win the national championship. You're trying to get to these games where they can shock the world and give you something to be excited about. And I think this USC game is the exact opportunity to do that, and it'll set the tone for kind of how this fan base reacts to the rest of the season.
But you have nothing to lose. There's nothing
No.
to lose with this
at
team,
all.
and I think that's the biggest thing they can fall back on.
Yep.
Yeah, I think, and this is going to be my bold take. Okay, I'm full of them. ASU is going to beat USC tomorrow, and they'll lose to UCLA, and then they will turn around and they will beat Arizona at home.
2 of 3.
They will come with 2 of those 3. And I think the most impressive thing that I've learned today, aside from thinking that ASU is going to win those games, is the fact that Hurley goes the entire game day
That's unbelievable.
without eating.
That's unbelievable. He's a
What?
madman. He's a
It
madman.
blew my mind.
Why do you think he's so angry? That's why he's so angry all the time. He's hungry.
I was at practice yesterday here in Mobile without food for 4 hours, and I was about to throw a tantrum. I can't imagine coaching a bunch of grown men while losing too. I mean, I couldn't do that. But look, there's a reason why he's the head coach of a Division I program. There's a reason why he kind of changed the culture here as the music is getting even louder now. You have to give Hurley some respect and kind of let him do what he does. When it comes to not eating, at times it's worked. He's done that his entire career, so we'll let him stay with that.
And he stands up. Like, it's not like he's like not eating all day and he's sitting down and he's quiet. He is animated, like full of energy. Like, I don't get it.
He's going full Looney Tunes. He's going crazy, and it's really unbelievable. He needs to put the headphones back on because he said he stopped that.
I love that too.
Everything's changed. But no, I don't understand how you could, especially for, like you said, those 9 p.m. games. How do you go literally damn near 24 hours? Because I'm assuming he wakes up at like 6 a.m. and he just doesn't eat at all. That's unbelievable. True, unbelievable.
You gotta be an animal, man. Like 100%. Like, I don't know how he does it, but I love the vision of him just sitting on like the bus, right? He's got. I could see the commercial now. He's got like his Beats headphones on, Pac's playing toward the end of the song. And boom, like Adele,
hello,
set fire to the rain or something. Like, comes on and he's just rocking. Man.
I can totally see Bobby just in the mirror, just I set fire
on the Peloton. He's on the Peloton.
On the Peloton.
Oh my gosh,
he's probably doing the like an Adele Peloton workout, going from that to like a '90s hip hop workout.
What a legend.
He is an animal. He is a beast.
I love it. Well, I know you guys will probably do it, but if anybody listening or if anybody watching wants to bet on tomorrow's game, you know where they can do that?
DraftKings Sportsbook app.
Yeah, because it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. So go download it. The moment we've finally been waiting for is here. It's Super Bowl, guys. We're getting ready. It's an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56, and we're giving new customers 56-1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and you get $280 in free bets if your team wins. If you're not a new customer, you can experience Super Bowl 56 with same-game parlays. You can combine all the bets, all the odds for a much bigger payout. I actually successfully did that yesterday in the Suns game, a 7-legger.
Good boy.
Haven't hit a 7-game, same-game parlay in feels like forever, but
I don't think you ever have before that.
Listen, I haven't while I've been in Arizona. Okay, we're not going to go deep into my bet slips from the time I was in Indiana.
Hey, we can go deep in mine real fast.
Have you hit any same gamers lately?
No, I actually had a really bad weekend, and the trip to Mobile has been a blessing in disguise because it is illegal here. So I'm here for 5 days off my phone, doing work and not betting on anything, and it's been really nice. My bank account thanks me for that. But I miss the DraftKings Sportsbook app. I'm not going to lie.
Shade's going to come back in like a full gold suit now that he saved a week's worth of money from.
I'm fucking shaking over here, guys.
He's going to blow it when he gets back.
The Suns were live at like -6 last night, and I was like, come on, please, just run back.
Oh, my gosh. Well, if you want to be like all of us and win some money.
Win.
We'll say like us, not Shane. Shane's gonna lose some money. But if you'd like to,
I guarantee I'm the only person that's positive from sports betting out of these 3. I guarantee that.
Like total forever?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. I'll give you that. If you want to win some money, go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code PHNX and get 56-1 odds on either team. Bet just $5 and get $280 in free bets if your team wins. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 56. It's 21 plus, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
Guys, ever since Bobby left, I've gotten more cold in the last 5 minutes. I'm freezing right
Bobby
now.
warms your heart.
He warms you.
But one fun thing, let's see if I can do this. Right here,
I love this.
Rachaad White in the yellow helmet. Practice going on from 11:30 to 1:30 today this is the national team, I believe. Very cold out here though. But yeah, Rachaad White behind me right now. He had a really good day yesterday. I haven't been able to watch much of him today, but I'm assuming he's just doing more of the same.
Yeah, what was the day like yesterday? Not only from what you saw from Rachaad White, but just like the experience so far for you, and obviously Saul's down there as well.
Yeah, it's been fun. We got the DNVR guys with us in a Alabama home that looks like it was rebuilt 20 times since the 1700s. The doors don't have enough room to clear the ground when they close. My shower this morning was cold. But other than that, it's been fantastic.
Oh, God.
The nightlife here is interesting. As RK calls them from DNVR, it's just a bunch of draft Twitter people everywhere downtown in Mobile. So we had a couple drinks last night. It was a good time. But in terms of the play on the field, the quarterback play is a little bit lacking. I'm not that big of a fan of Desmond Ridder. Wasn't a big a fan of him during the year. I know Shawn has like a shrine of him in his room, but man, he struggled yesterday. Kenny Pickett was.
Whoa. The shrine is of Kobe and Sauce, not of Desmond.
Okay. Well, Kobe Bryant was fantastic yesterday, but quarterback play, not the best. We saw a couple good guys. Sam Howell from North Carolina was good. Manny from Liberty was pretty solid. I really liked what I saw from him. Wide receivers, not anything to really write home about, but it's been fun to watch practice. It's a really high-level competition. I told you guys before, Dan Campbell was coaching the second practice yesterday, and he was getting guys fired up. They did some Oklahoma-type drills, and the defense and the offense, and whoever lost had to do push-ups, and the defense ended up losing. It was really fun. So, yeah, the environment down here is just great. It's different from anything else, except for the fact that it's going to rain through today and tomorrow.
Yeah. I know it's only day one, but how much – or day two today, yesterday, day one – how much do you think Rachaad White was able to kind of boost his draft stock even in just yesterday's practice?
It's hard for me to say just because I feel like I'm looking at it with Arizona State goggles. I'm paying attention to him more than really anybody else.
Yeah.
There a couple backs looked pretty good. He struggled a little bit to start yesterday in terms of route running, but that is what he's good at. He's a good pass catching back, so he figured it out later. And you couldn't find some holes to start their 7-on-7s and other, or not 7-on-7.
Nice.
Not 7-on-7.
So Shane got dragged into practice apparently, which is actually a great time to transition from former Arizona State players and apparently former Arizona State hosts to kind of the current big day for ASU football.
Yeah.
National Signing Day. We saw the majority of what ASU's recruits were going to be on early signing day. Today, so far, just over the course of the last 36 hours, I've seen just a couple guys. They got the transfer today. Chris Edmonds, a former safety from Sanford, jumps out. Big dude, 6'2", 6'3". Just right off the rip, how much can a guy like that improve ASU's secondary that is losing a couple guys? Hey, look, he's back.
Yeah. And blurry. I'm going to try to do this carefully this time. There we go.
You sit there and wait your turn now since you left.
I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, we lost people in the secondary, so that depth is, what is he doing? The added depth is good. Admittedly, don't know a whole lot about him, but I just like having size on defense is always nice, and just that added depth is good. I just like seeing, like we mentioned with some of the other transfers, the more people we have coming in through the transfer portal, I think the harder the competition is going to be during spring ball, and I think that's all you can really ask for going into the new season. Yeah,
Shane, we could jump back to you now. Okay. Yesterday, and we mentioned a little bit off cam before the show, the Saguaro athlete, and I'm not going to even name a position because he's quite literally he's an athlete, a guy all over the field. Javen Jacobs, what stands out to you in terms of just what he could bring to the table in terms of this ASU just team in general?
It just really depends on what the coaching staff decides to do with him and what he decides he wants to do. I think he's best as a running back. I think, ASU doesn't really need a running back, but you can never have too many. I think they'll do some interesting things with him. I think they'll get creative with the play calling, new OC, probably a new offense. It didn't really work out last year, so it's good to see somebody super notable coming in a recruiting class for ASU that's really been lacking, and the worst recruiting class at National Signing Day in like almost 80 years. So it's just good to have a guy like that. His dad was a running back, so that stands out. But wherever he can help out, really, man.
Yeah, we're gonna have his dad, Ja'Cory, on the show. Will join us Friday to talk a little bit about his son's story and just kind of their effort for him to be a little bit of a hometown hero now, coming straight from a winning program at Saguaro to now hopefully trying to change that culture at ASU that could really use some wins. But
it could. This kid's. I'm looking at the other schools that were interested in him. He had Yale, so clearly a smart kid, and then he had Army and Air Force. So clearly like a good guy as well as a good football player.
Yeah.
Just based on the schools that are interested in him. So definitely a good get.
Yeah.
Love the local talent.
I wish there was more to talk about in terms of National Signing Day for ASU, but that's kind of where the program is sitting right now with the investigation stuff.
Before the raindrop attacked my phone, I do want to finish my thought. Rashad White yesterday, he while they were doing the scrimmaging, he had some trouble early finding holes and getting used to. I mean, it's top level talent. You're playing against some of the best defensive linemen in the nation. Guys like Ohio State, Hackett, and a bunch of other Georgia, Bama, just big dudes. But what I think really helped him was doing what he does best and what the Arizona State staff kind of teaches all its running backs, and that's patience. The video I sent you guys yesterday that ended up getting posted on Twitter, you can kind of see in slow motion him going slow, trying to find the right holes, and he did that a couple times. So I really do think that wherever he ends up, doesn't matter draft stock or anything, first round, second, fifth, it doesn't matter. He's going to be a gem for any team, and he's going to bring a lot more than what people think because ASU not really under a national spotlight in terms of football.
Yeah. Shawn and I talked about it on Monday. Shawn would love to see him in a Bills uniform. I said that I think or Cardinals. I think he'd fit really nicely in that Baltimore offense, especially with some guys on their way out there. Where would you like to see Rashad White in?
Sneaky like New England, somewhere that checks down a lot. Honestly, Kansas City at this point with how they've been playing, throwing the ball like short. Any offense that isn't afraid to check down. I don't want him to go to an air raid. I don't want him to go to. Is it snowing? I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go to some place that's like, that airs the ball out, and I also don't want him to go to a power running program. I want it to be more where he's best, catching the ball in open space.
Yeah. Maybe Philly.
Man playing now.
Philly keys him. Yeah, bust out the moves real quick.
Let me see you, Millie Rot.
No.
Hey, you almost got him. I mean, you can. You're just choosing not to.
I don't have enough room to Millie Rot. Okay, I regret asking.
We need to cut that, and that needs to go on social media.
Shane, do you want to wipe a raindrop off your phone again and leave the stream?
Oh, you're telling me to leave. Nice. Funny.
Oh, my gosh. Well, if you want to check out all of Shane and Saul's amazing content from Alabama, you know where people can find that?
Where, Totri?
They can find it at gophnx.com because that's where you get the best sports coverage in Arizona, hands down. It's not like anybody else's coverage. We've got everything rebranded and kind of reimagined here on the Arizona State beat. Obviously, the Cardinals are doing some great offseason stuff. The Suns, absolutely killing it. So, you know what you can do? You can become a PHNX member and unlock all of that amazing coverage. All you got to do, again, head to the gophnx.com and become a member of the family, and you'll get either a free T-shirt from the PHNX locker or your first month for just 50 cents just for signing up. It's time to redefine what it means to be an Arizona sports fan. It's time to go PHNX. You get some of the best merch in all of Arizona as well. We still got, I believe 20% off Suns shirts for members.
Yeah, you can get this.
You know what I've actually heard that works really well is finding somebody that you have a crush on and gifting them a membership, a year-long membership to GoPHNX.com. Maybe send a link on Tinder. I've heard that's been working as
That's
well.
actually exactly how I got with my girlfriend. I sent her a GoPHNX
Really?
subscription. Yeah.
Huh.
And
You
a blanket that you knitted yourself.
Exactly.
Nice.
Exactly.
I've got so many questions.
I hand knit my girlfriend a blanket for Christmas.
Did you actually?
I did.
Wait, you can knit?
I hand knit. I don't have the needles or anything. I'm not that. I'm
But
not
you
grandma.
did like the old granny style.
No,
like,
I had my hands and I made a loop and I pulled it. I learned it on TikTok. It wasn't. It
you
didn't
learned
take
how to knit a whole ass blanket on TikTok.
Yeah, it literally took like 3 different motions. It was very easy. I almost quit once, but once I figured it out, it was easy.
Damn. And how'd she respond to it?
She loves it. It's on her bed.
Wow. What about you, Shane? What do you do?
That office looks so warm right now. My hands are super pruny. I don't know what you mean by what you do. Knitting blankets?
What's
Is that what you're
your
talking?
go-to? Like, what's your move? Like, clearly, Sean.
Oh, what's my move?
Subscription.
Sean's. I mean, at this point, we're past the promo, so like, Sean knits blankets here. I didn't know that.
Hey,
What do you do?
Hold on. I'm not knitting blankets for any girl that I knit blanket for my girlfriend that I love very
So
much.
Josh inspired what I just said. His girlfriend, I believe, got him an annual membership to GoPHNX.com. So shout out to you.
It was his
Josh.
wife.
His wife.
Wife. That's fantastic. Love
So
that.
crazy.
My move, I don't have a move. I'm beauty. I'm grace. Low power mode. Nice. Turn that on. I don't really have a move. I mean, look at the mustache. Look at the brand. Tip of the cap. How you doing, sweetheart? That's about my move.
Jeez.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
I
Don't
love
worry
it.
about it, sweetheart.
Wow.
But in terms of my move today in Mobile, me and Saul will be covering the offensive and defensive line. I get the beefcakes up front protecting the quarterbacks, and Saul will be covering the defensive linemen. We'll give you all the coverage for the Cardinals and everything. That'll be available on our Twitter and YouTube channel later in the day, and I'm going to be cold for the whole time. So that's going to be fun.
The Dieffenbach is covering the beefcakes.
Yep.
Shocker.
Apropos.
The last thing I want to get into today, guys, is the big announcement in the NFL, which people kind of saw coming, kind of laughable in my personal opinion. The Washington football team is now the Washington Commanders. Shane immediately unhappy. Just before we get into the actual question, what are your guys' thoughts on the new name?
I mean, they go from one terrible name to a questionable name. Like, this was a name that wasn't even like close to the top of the polls for the fans.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just a little weird. It's weird that they would choose Commanders after the last. I hate it.
It's just boring. I'm just tired.
I hate it.
I'm just.
I'm not offensive, am I? Oh no.
Shane's questioning his whole life right now. It's just it's a boring name. You had all this time to figure it out. Like, I would have rather them just stuck with football team and be like unique.
I hate that
than
even
go
more.
to this boring name.
No, WFT is the
unique.
best name.
That's like naming a cereal.
I don't think football team's a good name, but I think Commander is just like it's so forgettable. Like, it's just the jerseys I think are sweet. I do like the jerseys. I like the black jerseys. The burgundy and gold are solid colors.
Yeah, the colors are okay. When do you ever see an NFL team with text on the front of their jerseys? It's disgusting. The only passing ones are the black ones. I only like the black ones.
I agree. The
That's
black
what I
ones
just
are the
said.
best
That's what I
ones.
just said. I like the black ones. What are we doing here?
I thought you said you like the jerseys overall.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're terrible, but the black ones specifically I like.
I think they're all terrible.
Listen, I mean, you had all this time to do something dope, and they did nothing dope.
That's
They
the
had.
biggest thing.
That's why I'm saying, like, you should have just stuck. Like, I would have been fine with them sticking with the football team for another 5 years if they had to. If it resulted in them having an actual name that wasn't.
Dude, WFT just rolls off the tongue so well. Like, oh yeah, I got Taylor Heineke and WFT +6. Like, that sounds dope.
And also,
give me WFT the entire time.
It'd be a horrible bet any day of the week.
you have the USFL coming that has a team called the Gamblers. Like, they have actual cool names, and you're the Commanders.
All right, what would you guys name the team if you guys could right now?
It's like you're reading my mind. That was the question. You can start because I still got to think about it.
Their
team or any team?
Their team.
Oh,
Their team, I'm naming them like, Jesus. I don't know. I hadn't put any thought into it. It's not my job. Jason Wright's job. I like I think like the Red Hawks. I think doing like because like there was the designs of them being inspired by like the what was it
You can do it.
I don't remember what it was, but it was like the Black Airmen, and I'm like, if you're gonna change it from something racist, just go do a full 180 and do something not racist.
Nice.
Like
not racist.
the Commanders is just like
That's why the bar is so low.
It's on the floor.
But it's not even like the branding team. Like it's just the entire organization. It's run poorly. There's terrible things going on. They don't care about their fans.
Exactly.
They don't care about their stadium. As Josh Hunt mentioned earlier, they're just so out of touch with what people want. It sucks. And with me saying that, I'm in touch with what people want. I'm naming them the Mud Crabs. That would be a fantastic name.
For a minor league baseball team. I was of the opinion that they should ditch the whole Washington thing because I'm tired of DC teams being named Washington. They should have been the DC something. Like I think it would have been cool if they embraced the DC
Demons.
DC Demons. I don't like
Maybe
that.
the Washington Wolves. I like that better.
That's
like
another
a
one.
created team. And
Hey, it rolls off the tongue. Okay.
No, it doesn't.
The Washington Wolves?
Yeah, it sounds like the generic baby name. It's stupid and dumb.
Generic baby
I hate
name.
it.
Like a Gerber baby?
Don't bring that up while I'm in Montreal.
Everybody knows how much Shane loves Gerber babies. That sounded. Never mind. So transitioning, if you can name any Arizona sports team, that was the question. I know this was on the PHNX podcast not too long ago, but if you can name any Arizona sports team or rename it, what would you give it?
You talking to me? I have
The
no fucking
Phoenix
clue.
Sports Podcast, Totri, not the The Phoenix Sports
Thank
Podcast.
you, Michaela.
That Michaela shouts from the other room. I don't. Well, which team are you changing? Like,
Give me Arizona State.
The Sun Devils is a fucking.
The Sun Devils is like one of the. I think maybe the Suns is the weakest of the Cardinals.
I was gonna say change the Cardinals because it has nothing to do with the Valley and it's an old team name.
Give me the Arizona Cactus Wren, the state bird of Arizona.
Why'd you salute?
I don't know.
I don't
I think
know.
his phone's about to die. I think that's what it is.
What?
I
was saluting my dead phone.
Before it's totally off the rails.
Like the Arizona, I don't know. Like that. Honestly, like if you want to stick with the red bird, go like Firebirds or something like that.
I like that. Arizona Firebirds.
Like stick with I just like the whole Valley of the Sun where like the city's constantly on fire. It's hot here. Like the whole that theme. I don't mind like the Wranglers or like the Scorpions. I think Scorpion is something that this city should have embraced in a team name.
I agree.
But something I like that all the teams except for the Cardinals have like a Valley theme to them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Well, we're gonna let Shane get back to his lovely weather over there in Alabama. Yeah. It looks just amazing. Any final thoughts, Shane, before we kick you out?
Blessing in disguise since it's raining. Looks like tomorrow's practice will be moved indoors and only local media will be able to cover it. So unfortunately, we won't be able to have boots on the ground at the practice. But it does mean we get to go to Louisiana faster and get into a hotel room, which means I'll be able to join for the USC ASU postgame show. Tips off at 10 p.m. my time, so I'm fired up.
And Shane can gamble in Louisiana.
Shane can gamble in Louisiana.
But I won't, unless I'm on a riverboat. Steamboat Shane, back at it again.
Oh my God.
Steamboat Shane. Steamboat Willie. Basically, you're a human cartoon, Shane.
Yeah. Okay, can I go?
Yeah, you can leave.
I think we should hold him here a little while and just make us feel cold.
Follow me on Twitter at Shane Deep. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
Oh, man. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in, or if you're listening, wherever you get your podcast today. Obviously, a very big episode, kind of a relaunch for the PHNX Sun Devil show. So you can follow us on all socials at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me on social at Anthony_Totri. Shawn, where can the peeps follow Mr. Lightskin himself?
At Shawn_DePaz. Just being sexy as always on Twitter.
Wow. Okay. One final note, want to wish a happy National Women in Sports Day to everybody, but especially the people here at PHNX, Leah, Michaela, Cheerston, Lindsay, all the interns as well. So go ahead and wish everybody in the sports community, all the women, they do a great job. So go ahead and wish them a happy National Women in Sports Day. But we'll catch you guys tomorrow.